What is going on, YouTube? We're back past the prop here again for another round of some MLB action today. We're on a Monday slate, absolutely loaded Monday slate. I know we've had a couple shit ones lately, but MLB came back and wanted to start our week out on a high note. Joined as always by my guy Stu. What's good, man?
Nothing much. Had a good weekend. Was just hanging out mostly. Went down and watched the UFC card, which, I don't know how you did. Yeah, I think I got my ass beat for that UFC card, man. I think every single bet I made, it just instantly failed. I actually was getting ready to put the house on Aspinall just to see how far it could go. Just to see, can I possibly make Blades win this fight here? But no, that was the only one. I think I snuck in a last-minute patty round one, which saved me a little bit because I had a lot on green, I'm not going to lie. So that balanced it out a little bit. But ended up surviving that. And, yeah, back to baseball. And I hopefully can, get a little bit of a bounce back. Because that UFC card kicked my ass this weekend.
Yeah, I didn't do too bad. Obviously, I had Patterson round one, which was nice. I started my card out. I ended up having Arnold Allen. I think I told you that one. I took Arnold Allen round 3 decision at minus 130, which was nice. Couple overs in the girls' fights. As always, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
I did take Bilal, which was nice. I was fading Leon Edwards just because I fucking hate him. So that was nice. So plus 200 at the end of the night. I had Aspinall. The middle part, the Bobby Green part, the couple other ones in there. I had Oban Elliott as a plus money dog. That one cashed.
Nice.
But, yeah, the end of my card was not as good as I would have liked. The beginning and the end was great. Middle of that card was fucking awful. So, yeah, I hope even that sphere, everybody's talking like that card's fucking insane. The main card, I looked at the front and they're usually these big cards, every fight's a banger, 300.
Yeah.
No, it's that they're hyping that up like it's fucking UFC 300, bro. I ain't even close. So, yeah, let's get to some MLB because obviously had a good week last week on the show. Good week in DFS, hoping that continues. Last Monday we took one down. Hopefully today we can do it again. And obviously, it's a nice slate to do it. So we did have an 0-2, but we did cash the long shot. I know you did come through for those. We both had plus money spots. Adley did not score in that one, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I mean, Adley really only game where he didn't get it done early on at plus money. But, yeah, luckily did get the bounce back there with the 4+ total bases with Trey Turner. That was a lot of fun. Super glad we could cash that. And even Homer, too. I told you I picked the total bases. Lost a couple points on the juice there, but I'm very happy with that. Trey got the job done for us.
Yeah, Trey plus 430. I'm pretty sure that was the only run they scored for a long time in that game. That series was pretty cool. I like that Guardians series with them. I took the Phillies team total under 4.5 yesterday because I knew they'd be chalk, and I'm fading the chalk today, and it hit, but Kyle Schwarber decides to just do everything, gets 2 bombs, so it's chalkiest guy of the whole group hits the fucking 2 bombs. So, of course, I ended up having Steele, and I feel so shitty about this because I literally said that bullpen is fucking dog shit. And what really made me mad was the first inning. I literally came on here. And said, if we get BABIP to death, we do. It just happens. What happens first inning? 2 sub 50-mile-an-hour hits. Justin Steele falls on his fucking face. Falls on his face on a 20-mile-an-hour hit right between him and second base. All you have to do is pick up the ball and flip it. No, let's fall on my face flat and let the guy go first to the third. Are you – dude, be athletic, homie. Are you kidding me? Just pick up the fucking ball. Pick up the ball. It's Willie Adames running, homie. He ain't fast at all. So that's how they score the first run. Second run gets scored because the bullpen that I had literally talked up being dog shit gives it up because Steele gives up, again, another 50-mile-an-hour hit, blooper. As a Brewers fan, I loved watching that, but God, dude, that was so annoying. Just blooper after blooper. I think there was 2 hard-hit balls the whole day. And I felt good about the bet, but Steele obviously came out, and that was the day I ended up almost taking down a tournament. I took second in a huge tournament, and if Steele would have just gotten through that inning, I would have won it. And that's the really infuriating part about this bet.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's always those kind of bets, right? That you say it's not like the one where you lose in the first inning or like they score 80 runs. It's like these kind of it's just slow and painful right here. And obviously, like you said, the DFS. I mean, you've been really on top of the world these last couple of weeks. We might need to hit a rebrand on the show to pass the prop DFS because goddamn, taking down these tournaments. So hopefully, get a little bit more of that momentum this week. I don't know. Maybe later you give us a little insight into what you're looking at today, but definitely like the pick. Unfortunately, it didn't work out at the plus money price tag.
Yeah, we took down golf, or didn't take one down, but still, I think like 8-9x golf with Xander winning the whole thing with Russell Henley coming up there at the end. Then the next day, I think I took second and third in a tournament. And then this day, which was the Wednesday show, I ended up taking second again because fucking Seal couldn't finish through it. And FanDuel is a little different because, like, I've been playing more FanDuel because there's not many. I don't want to say not many sharps, but there's a lot more sharps going for the bigger prize pools on DraftKings, which you understand, right? DraftKings gives you a lot better prizes, a lot better rewards program than FanDuel. Like FanDuel's rewards are kind of dog shit. Like they don't even let you like use the rewards or crowns they call it on DraftKings. They let you put that towards your money. Like you can't even really do that in FanDuel. You can't like cut it up and put it in a different one. So it's kind of annoying, but also I think that kind of pushes those heavy hitters away. And I only make one lineup a day. I only do one lineup a day, and that's only if I really like it. So I've had a couple people message. I do not like sell my lineups because I don't think that's legal. Because I'm not gonna do that. But it's kind of funny because you guys literally watch the show, right? You watch the show, you hear me talk about them. Don't you think I'm probably playing those guys, right? That's literally what ends up happening. Like yesterday, I know we talked about the Orioles, or we were tweeting yesterday about the Orioles and stuff. Of course, I took them first 5 team total over 2.5. Of course, I'm going to have the Orioles in my stack. Like I'm going to stack the people I'm playing in my bets anyway. Like obviously that's when you have like the really big days, and then obviously a shit days because you're rolling with the same guys. But that's why you can split it up to 2, 3, 4 mans. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but yeah, it was a fun week last week. Would have been really, really, really fun if Bobby Green would have won his fucking fight. Goddamn, I would have had a really nice lineup, but Bobby Green just took an absolute shit, bro. I think he literally dove, bro. I'm telling you, he had to. Like, what are you doing? You don't go. He's literally done that same move like 3 times. Patty does that every fight. Tries to go straight guillotine every time. And of course, yeah, let's shoot a shit takedown. Like
I was gonna say, when was the last time Bobby Green shot
he does it? He should have fucking done it against Drew Dober then. Like, what are you doing? Like, it just don't even get me started on Bobby Green. Hopefully, he gets cut or whatever. King, whatever the fuck. Wouldn't you name? Okay, this last tangent. Okay, if you're gonna change your name to King, why would you keep it as King Green? Why wouldn't you make it King and change your last name and King Bobby, bro? That sounds way better. Like King Green, like change it to King Bobby. What are we doing here, dude? Like, why would you? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Also, like Bobby King Green sounded fine, which is what he was saying anyway. Like, well, I don't know. It's the guy who knows.
He legally changed it now, so it's legal.
I saw that.
So,
I mean,
I don't know, but
maybe he does get cut after this one. Who knows?
But end up making 0.15 units with you hitting that long shot, making us 2.15. Both of us play plus money spots. That's why the plus money is awesome. It helps us out on the show here because we do end up still making some money on that last show if you played everything we had there. So we got a pretty decent slate tonight. What is the game catching your eye? Obviously, both of our teams in action again in this one.
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting one. Obviously, a lot of good pitching on the slate. Which isn't my favorite. I like the days where we get the 4 and 5 starters. Those are my primetime days. But I think honestly, a Yankees Phillies series is pretty exciting right now, just with the kind of name value. I didn't watch too much of the Yankees Red Sox series, but it was like impossible to miss on the sports book. It was always on like the huge TV and stuff. And that game, that second one, not yesterday, the one on Saturday, I mean, that was an action-packed game, right? That was a very fun one. So I think Yankees obviously carrying a little bit of that. And then we got the Phillies, who are one of the most talked about teams in the league right now. I think a lot of people are going to be tuning into this matchup. I believe it's maybe like an ESPN or a Fox, one of those primetime games. So definitely excited to tune in. That'll be probably the main one I'm watching. before we get into my Nationals a little bit later.
Yeah, I always am more worried with lines and stuff like that. Got a straight pick 'em pretty much in Cincinnati, like that one. But I think it's got to be your Nationals game, and it's just because I literally hate both pitchers. So Mitch Parker for a different reason than Guy Montgomery. Like, I love fading Montgomery, so I actually really like him. I made a lot of money fading him this year. But Mitchell Parker just pissed me off his last outing, and I'm going to go straight back to fading the fucker because I had San Diego Padres not to strike out 4 times against him. He decides to strike out like 7 and just get absolutely lit up in the process. And the Padres have no pop and then just decide to hit this dude for double after double, but just strike out. It was really weird. It's literally like not what the Padres do, right? They don't strike out. They don't hit for much power, and then Mitchell Parker comes there and switches things up on them. So I think this is a great spot for both offenses, and I think that'll be a fun one to end the night with.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I was mentioning too a little before the slate. I know you always talk with these highest scoring game props. I really think that could be one that could be in contention for it today. So I'm obviously excited to watch that, and yeah, we'll share a little bit more thoughts on that game as we go today.
Yeah, dude. The only thing I'm worried about is just that Reds game. Like, I hate Jameson Taillon.
Yeah,
Harrison Spears in Cincinnati, bro. Like, I don't like playing the Cubs outside of there, so that might be a little bit where it could go down a little bit. But, man, that ball's going to be flying today out there. It's a 9.5 total, highest on the slate, but I definitely like the teams and the matchup better in that game. So definitely will be something I look at here for possible long shot on the show for both of us, obviously, because we probably both would play that. So let's take a look at the chat. We got Sadiq in here. What's up? Cashville Rican, hopefully having a good one, man. I appreciate seeing you in here as always. Stu, you ready to get after it today? You ready to do this thing?
I'm ready to go.
All right, let's do it.
Sounds good. We're going over to my Nationals. We're going Juan Yepez over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Been moving a little, -115. ESPN is the best price you can get it. I would play to -125, which I believe is what DraftKings has right now. And even I saw FanDuel actually added this market finally. They don't have this prop up yet, but I did like seeing FanDuel in the hits, runs, RBIs world. It shows where we're expanding. We're getting more options. The prices aren't good. It is FanDuel, but it's progress. We're getting there a little bit better. Plus, you can actually parlay the 1.5, which you can't do on DraftKings because they'll bump it up to 2.5, right? So I do like getting that option as well. But anyway, back to Yepez right here on a Nationals team that – it's weird. The Nationals against lefties this year have not been the wagon they were last year. Even no matter how bad they were last year, they were still consistently pretty solid against lefties. But we really haven't seen that this season, despite the fact that a lot of the individual hitters profile pretty well against lefties. But over the last month, we've finally seen the tides turn a little bit. They're top 12 in most important metrics against lefties over the last month, which is where I expected them to be. This isn't a great lineup. They don't need to be in the top 5. But that top 12 above average is exactly what we like to see, especially against a pitcher in Jordan Montgomery, who, man, after that second half of last season, I don't know who was predicting him to come out like this. Clearly, we didn't think he was going to be a Cy Young guy or whatever this season, but I kind of figured Montgomery was middle of the road, solid, do the best he can. But it's been brutal this season. Bottom 10th percentile in terms of XBA, xERA. Obviously, the fastball velocity hasn't been amazing. The whiff rate is not there. It's just not been a good season whatsoever from Montgomery, and we've really seen righties take advantage. And on the other side, now I'm going to Yepez for the Nationals because, man, this guy's really made his mark since being called up. I've kind of had close tabs on him since the start of the year. If you watched earlier, I bet Meneses under hits, runs, RBIs a couple times. Truly thought he was one of the worst players in the MLB taking up an active roster spot. So it was finally, destiny when Yepez got called up. But before that, in the minor leagues, this guy was hitting 350 the whole year. He was absolutely crushing AAA. He came in. Most people actually thought he might make the team out of spring training because he had such an impressive spring training showing. Didn't end up happening. But I just want to say this good recent form he's come up to the major leagues isn't necessarily new because he's been destroying since he put a Nationals, jersey on since the beginning of the season, obviously. But hit in 17 of his 19 games up in the majors, obviously over this number in 13 of those 19, right? Like I said, off the bat, called up to the majors over this number in 13 of his last 19, 4 of his last 6 since the All-Star break. So it's not like he left that momentum at the break either. He's been doing really well. We saw Washington remove Winker from that lineup as well. He was just traded to the Mets the other day, which means Yepes is a lock to be in that 3 or 4 hole. He should be surrounded by, obviously, Abrams, Lane Thomas, who is notoriously great against lefties, and probably James Wood sitting there right behind him. To me, that is really the only section of this Nationals lineup I want to talk about. Maybe Harold Ramirez will sneak his way somewhere in the top of the lineup. I might play Harold Ramirez for a hit today. I know it sounds really ugly, but to talk about a guy that is only really hitting singles, slapping singles around, I think this could actually be the kind of perfect matchup against a guy like Montgomery, who's giving you those opportunities. So maybe a Ramirez hit or an RBI or something, but mainly I like the Yepes is really surrounded by the core of this lineup. And when we look at, obviously, at Montgomery's pitch splits and how it matches up, Yepes pretty limited sample size so far, but 389 on the fastball, and then 520 at bats against the curveball so far. So limited sample size, but he's clearly seeing the off speed pretty well. The only pitch that he's not hitting so well against is the changeup, 200 average, but the XBA on that is 331. So, Savant sees a little bit of positive regression there. So I like that the pitch splits match, but really, I kind of mentioned this to PPS before the show. If you're watching the Nationals, Yepes is the only one with a pulse right now. Like a lot of these guys, Thomas and Abrams are my normal 2 targets. I think this could be a good get right for Thomas because it's obviously a very hittable lefty, but I need to see a little bit more from Abrams. Both those guys are getting thrown out a lot on bases as well, which is a little bit frustrating. I think the real core that I like in this game is kind of the Yepes, Wood, and even Ramirez at the end right there. So I like that we're surrounded with these runs and RBI opportunities. I like how consistent he's been in the hit department, hitting 17 of 19 since being called up, and now we truly get one of the best matchups possible. So he's crushing lefties over 400. I think he continues that today. And once again, I do want to say I've seen some posts about this guy. Let's not get carried away. He's a relatively unproven guy, right? He doesn't have that many major league at bats. This isn't going to last forever, right? But it does take a couple weeks, to really sink into those weaknesses, to really figure out what a guy's crushing. And right now, Yepes has been pretty good across the board. So I think he sustains this momentum for a little bit longer. And I think he goes over this number in a very good matchup today.
Yes, sir. I'll be in that game as well for one of the legs of mine. So I will talk about mine there. And I'm going to be fading your boy Mitchell Parker in this one and going with my guy Nick Pivetta. Nick Pivetta is pretty easy for me to break down. He is very hit or miss, right? He's a very hit or miss pitcher, but I love these spots post a blow up, right? I love them taking him post blow up because I took the Rockies on the show, bro. I literally said, I'm taking the Rockies, right? I took them in the game. They scored 20 runs. That's why I won that tournament, right? That's why I got up there. And I said it right here. I'm like, this is a brutal spot for Nick Pivetta, right? Because he's a high-end velo guy, fantastic curveball, absolutely wipeout, and misses bats. But we talk about it all the time in Coors Field, the breaking ball does not move as much. It doesn't have that same movement, right? That's why the guys who throw changeups, who throw sinkers, those guys are the guys who do well in Coors Field because they're not trying to strike you out. They don't have to live up in the zone to get strikeouts because if you put the ball up in the zone and get a barrel up there, it's gone, right? And we saw that, right? Obviously, Pivetta has probably been one of the most unlucky pitchers in the MLB this year. And I'm going to be talking about luck here with Mitchell Parker in a second. But against righties, Pivetta has a 24% K minus BB, 28% K rate to righties, only a 4% walk rate. Against lefties, 31% K rate. Like, are we serious? Like, why is you look at the numbers on the outside? Nick Pivetta has not been doing that well, right? But expected ERA, full run lower than his actual, a 29.5% K rate. His walk rate is the lowest of his career, right? There's a lot of good things happening here with Pivetta that no one's going to want to talk about because, yeah, he gives up a lot of pop, right? He's given up 2 home runs per 9 to righties this year. But he's got a 3.3 xFIP to lefties. He has a 3.37 to righties. He is completely unhittable right now to lefties right now. And I feel like this Seattle lineup is going to be probably trying to load up with him. Got a lot of switch hitters in there with, Victor Robles batting 2, right? That's your 2-hitter right now. No J.P. Crawford. Cal Raleigh. You got Mitch Haniger, strikeout king. Right? I mean, everywhere you go in this lineup is strikeout. Julio still not 100% with that ankle. We're going to be bringing in Luke Raley, bro. Like, this guy strikes out lefties at such a high clip, and now we're bringing in very low-end lefties to take the spots of good players because they're just injured. Randy Rosarena, let me have my one rant here on baseball. Your owner says, hey, I want to cut down on strikeouts, right? Let's get rid of Teoscar Hernandez and Jared Kelenic. All right. Well, now you have Teoscar batting 4 in the number 1 lineup in the MLB and Kelenic batting leadoff. Sans injuries, obviously, with the Atlanta, but still batting leadoff, batting 250, right? What the fuck are you doing? And now you go pick up Randy? Randy Rosarena was batting under 200 for 90% of the season already. Like, oh my God. I will continue to fade Seattle until oblivion. I'm good. So that's my stuff on Pavetta. Sorry, I had to get that in because we haven't had a show since the Randy Rosarena trade. And it just baffles me how stupid these guys are. Like, baffles me how bad they are. I digress. Yeah. Let's go to Mitchell Parker. Mitchell Parker, dude, I'm telling you, this dude might be the luckiest guy in the MLB, right? Because against lefties, you look at his numbers, he's been awful against them, but he has a 377 BABIP against lefties, which is very, very high. My thing is this guy is an above average barrel rate against him. The hard hit rate on his fastball that he throws 50% of the time, 46%, has a 46% hard hit rate, throws it 50% of the time at 90 miles an hour, and is a -7 run value in Baseball Savant, which is impressively bad, right? But the dude against righties has a 243 BABIP. Like, that has to come up. The dude's giving up too many barrels for it not to come up. And now you're going against this team that I love taking these guys against left-handed pitchers. Mitch Parker, what I do like, he doesn't walk that many guys. He's in the zone a lot of the time. He has a very good walk rate sitting around 6%, which obviously we want here. Expected ERA, pretty average, right? It's pretty much the same as his actual. But, man, on the road this year, 19% K rate. He's a 4.22 xFIP there. And the numbers against righties have to come up, man. They have to come up, right? You have a lineup here in Ketel Marte, Gabby Moreno, Gurriel, and Walker in the top 4. And I don't usually go into pitch splits much unless I'm playing these guys specifically in DFS and I want to take a one-off. But, all right, we have a 4-seam fastball throwing at 92, 49% of the time, and 25% of the time with the curveball. Yeah, let's take a look at Ketel Marte against those. And this dude might be the most bet guy in the world today, and I think he should be. Against 4-seamers, you got a 62% hard hit rate. 62%, 606 expected slugging against 4-seam fastballs. One of the top in the league. He's 11 run value against 4-seam fastball. You're going to run that up there 50% of the time? Oh, we'll just use our off speed. Well, let's go look at it. He has a 452 expected slugging against left-handed curveballs. 1,100 expected slug, or not expected slugging. Let me check. Yeah, it is expected. Oh my God, almost 1,100 expected slug against lefty curveballs, dude. What are you gonna do? Like, I don't get it. That's 75% of your arsenal. You're just gonna throw 5 splitters in a row? You're just gonna throw a splitter every single time? No, right? So go there. Gabby Moreno, 358 expected slug against 4-seamers, 44% hard hit rate against curveballs. 506 expected slug, 42% hard hit rate, right? And then Gurriel, guy I love playing him in these spots against lefties. 359 slugging. And against curveballs, he's been actually very, very good with a 304 batting average, 44% hard hit rate. And then obviously Christian Walker just smashes all lefties. So you have a guy here who doesn't walk many dudes. You have the top 4 in this lineup. And mind you, Rado Grichuk has actually been very, very good in the 5-hole against lefties. He only plays against lefties because they obviously have Jake McCarthy that they can platoon. Really underrated to have him in that 5-hole because he's just in there to hit lefties, and he's done a very good job of it this year. So obviously Kevin Newman at the bottom of the order, not a power guy, slaps for hits. Blaze Alexander we could possibly see in this one as well. Just a very low team strikeout rate, only 19%. So far this year against lefties at home. 111 WRC plus. They've been very, very good. I just don't see a way that Parker navigates through, especially with the amount of barrels that we have seen here from him. Tough travel spot too for them to head out to Arizona, going from the from their last trip. I just think this is a very tough spot for a rookie to go in against a team that's still fighting for something, that's really wanting to get this wild card, and you're really just taking exactly what they want, right? They want lefties in there. They are built to beat lefties, right? They're like the Red Sox against righties, pretty much. The Red Sox smash righties and suck against lefties. This is a tough spot for him. Obviously, having a guy like Ketel Marte at the top of this lineup, it just sets everything up, man. So I really like this play. I might be playing more.
Yeah, no, I really like this combo as well. One of the first things we got on here, we talked about how we both agreed that we thought the Diamondbacks were going to smash. I think your analysis, Parker, was really, really good. Just to add on another thing, too, once again, he's never pitched this much ever, right? It's clear it's catching up to him. Like, I've watched every start of the guy. I respect him. He's like a fighter. I think he'll be one of those hang on as a 4-starter kind of guys, because it's what you said, he doesn't walk guys, which is really good, especially for a young guy to immediately come up and aggressively attack the strike zone. It's clear why the Nationals kind of like the kid. The problem is, like you said, he's not missing that many barrels along the way, and I said it since his first start in the major leagues. He's a 2-pitch pitcher, and you already mentioned how rough the fastball's been. The split finger is a work in progress. He only just started throwing that recently, right? He was not confident. I don't even think he threw the split finger more than twice in his first couple starts, right? That's something he's adding on as a rookie in real time to try to overcome the fact that he can't really get the fastball by anyone. And the curveball is good, but it's kind of like a big loopy curveball. It's nothing like special, right? So I just wanted to say, as someone that's actually sat and watched each one of these starts, like, I completely agree. I like Parker, but I think the wheels are falling off, and he doesn't have the tools necessary at the major league level to kind of combat these problems he's having. And now you put him against a team that I believe has already seen him. I believe they faced when they played in DC earlier this year. But if I'm not mistaken, they haven't seen him. They're a team that's built in a lab to crush him. Like you said, there's so much righty on lefty power in that lineup. I already have Ketel in a home run parlay for a little bit later today. His hit price is 320, which isn't great, but I think it should be like Coors level. I think it should be like 450 today. So I'll probably have Marte's hit and something as well. And then I'm pretty sure I'm playing the fucking Diamondbacks first 5 team total. I try to stay away from it. I try to normally stay in the hit parlay range, but I mean, I really like the look. So love the analysis here. You obviously crushed the Pavetta part. We already know how rough that Seattle team is looking with my guy Victor Robles, former top DC prospect over there in the 2-hole after he got cut from our team. He couldn't beat out Jacob Young and Alex Call over in DC. Now he's hitting number 2. So definitely like the look right here. I like the Parker fade. We're definitely on the same page today.
Yeah, and I think that's smart that you added in how bad he's been lately. 16 2/3 innings in the month of July, a 9 ERA. And mind you, the Brewers do not hit lefties well, and he got lit up against them, guys, right? Cardinals, they're bad against lefties. He crushed them, right? He crushed them. Ended up going 7 innings there. But against the Mets, smashed. San Diego, he got smashed. So not riding the hottest train there so far. So let's recap here. We'll take a look. I do want to talk about something for long shots if they have them up. I haven't checked yet. So let's do it, Stu.
Sounds good. You got one Yepes over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs -115 over on ESPN Sportsbook.
Perfect. And I'm on Parker, 5 hits allowed. Nick Pavetta, 6 Ks at -125 on DraftKings. Stu, they do not have the daily leaders for scoring. They do have the strikeout leaders today. Pavetta sitting in the number 2 hole behind Paul Skeens.
Yeah.
I just think it's getting Skeens. Like, it's just the name, right?
Yep. But
I mean, I got it. I have to play it now. I'm already in. I'm going to play him, and I'm going to close my eyes for the entire outing. I'm going to take Nick Pavetta top K at +550. I think that's – I poke holes in a lot of those top guys here, but I've already talked about how this is a terrible matchup for Skeens, mind you. Like, righty in Houston, team that doesn't strike out, to Pavetta cut. I think Pavetta would be the highest if he didn't just get his tits slit, bro. He got nuked. by Colorado in a spot where I knew he wasn't going to do well. It's just a terrible spot for him. In a day game in Coors Field, and now you get to go home, face the team that strikes out the most. You get to face another ace on the other side in Logan Gilbert. I think that's going to be a fun one. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. And mind you, Logan Gilbert's 5th on that list, facing off against Boston in Boston, right? I know it's not a great park, but Seattle doesn't have shit on it. Like, that's only $3 difference? Really? I thought that would be a way bigger difference for a guy who doesn't strike out that many dudes. Zach Wheeler, I didn't even check who he's playing. I didn't even look. But I don't like Wheeler for strikeouts usually too often, just because he does use a sinker a little bit more than I would like for a high strikeout guy. And then Luis Gil, you don't even know what's happening. You don't even know if he's going to get shut down, right? And he's 4th. So it's pretty much Skeen versus Pivetta. I will close my eyes and hope Pivetta can make it through 6.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I think even a guy like a Flaherty, who I normally look at, well, he's facing the Guardians. Can't do that. You know what I mean? He's like one of those high upside guys that could compete. I agree. I think this is a more competitive one with the favorites right here, and Skeens is in his toughest spot yet. You know what I mean? Like, it really is. I mean, he's kind of beaten up on some of these worst K teams, but now he's getting a team that, especially historically, just does not strike out in these situations at home. So I'm curious about that. I know half of gambling Twitter is on his over already, just because it's lower than it was before. So that'll be a real fascinating one to watch.
Who's on the overs?
For Skeens?
Is it Skeens?
Yeah, I've seen the overs. Because I even think it opened like 6.5 juiced last night, I believe. So I saw some people on the juice, and then 7.5 definitely. I've seen some bets on that as well.
Lastly, I will poke a hole. Thomas, thank you. Watches the show a lot. Obviously, we appreciate you tuning in. Wheeler versus the Yankees, right? Wheeler's at home. He's phenomenal at home, but the Yankees on the road versus righties are the number 2 team in WRC plus, only behind the Baltimore Orioles. 119 WRC plus. They only strike out at a 20% clip on the road. I don't know, man. I think this is obviously a spot. I think you're getting the Wheeler at home juice. That's what you're paying, but this is a tough spot, man. It's not like it's a big travel spot. I know it's a big letdown spot after the Boston one, but they beat the brakes off the Red Sox yesterday. Really wasn't even close after the 6th inning when they ended up getting it close. It was like 4-2, and then the Yankees kind of ran away with it. I think this is a brutal spot for him too. A team that doesn't really strike out against right-handed pitching. I think this is tough, man. I think that you look at it like Pavetta's not priced in that spot where he's in the best matchup. I think that he should be way, way shorter when we've seen double-digit upside Ks from him. So I think you can poke holes in a lot of those other top guys. Obviously, Pivetta being very hit or miss is a hole in it. So we got Joseph popping in here for a late question before we head out. Jose Quintana under Ks versus the Twins. If you could, Joe, could you post what it is? I'd be curious what that line is, because obviously I'm kind of got enough tabs open to kind of give me a headache here right now. So I'm kind of all over the place with my tabs here. If you could post that, I would really appreciate it. We have under Ks versus the Twins. The Twins on the season right now are very good against lefties because they have that platoon. They only strike out 20% of the time. Very, very, very high WRC plus in that spot. 119. Them and the Mets are actually tied at that spot. So I think I would probably, instead of taking Ks, I probably would take hits, or I would probably take under outs. I think those would be the spots I'd want to roll with on Quintana rather than Ks, because I'm sure it's like 3.5, right? I can't imagine it's very
4.5. 4.5.
What's the juice on the under? 150?
I see minus 135.
Shit. Damn, bro. Fuck, they might make me bet it.
Oh, actually, FanDuel has minus 118 as well. So yeah,
under 4.5 strikeouts.
That's what I'm looking at on my.
Holy shit! Good luck there, Joe. That might be add to my card, because 20% K rate. You got a lot of righties in that lineup, dude. They're gonna have probably 8, right? I would assume, with it being the Twins and them doing what they always do and only playing righties against that. Shout out to Jose Miranda, one of the guys I really like. He got smoked in the head yesterday by a pitch, so hopefully he's okay. But, I mean, I'm looking at Jose Quintana. He's only got an 18% K rate versus righties. 4.52 xFIP, not great. Maybe that's a look for me. Maybe I will be on the under. But I would probably look at outs. I'd be curious about outs, what they give you for the outs line, especially when he has a 9.3% walk rate versus righties on the season. You're going to probably see 8. They don't even play Kepler anymore against lefties, which is pretty impressive that they are able to continue to do this at this high of a level against them. So, Colin Rea, dude, he's been good at home, but I don't know what you mean by like. Do I think they win this game? Yes, they're facing a right-handed pitcher at home, and it's a bullpen game. But do I want to put my money on Colin Rea anymore? No. He has lost me some coin this year, and I'm perfectly content not playing him anymore. So I think there's better ways.
Oh, yeah, Rea, I mean, because he's a guy that guys that don't, for me, even beyond how great you are and what your like stats are on paper, but I'm looking at batter props. I want guys that like don't miss barrel or like that don't miss barrels, don't miss bats first. Like, and Rea doesn't miss, like, he's good at avoiding the like homers and stuff, but he's not like striking a lot of guys out, right? There's a lot of opportunities. My problem is just like, who do you trust on the Braves right now, man? I was Ben Kelnick the other week. That's how bad it was, and he cashed for me. Don't get me wrong, guys do pretty well, but like, man, Ben on the Braves last year felt like a sure thing with that offensive firepower. And it's the same lineup minus Acuna, but I mean, whoa, it's a vastly different outcome. So it's real tough. Even pitchers I don't mind fading. You know, when I look at that Braves lineup, I don't. Ozuna's still kind of crushing, but it's like he's still being priced like the rest of the lineup is playing how we expect them to play. So it's a tough situation with the Braves right now. Tough team to bet on for the batter props. I
will correct you there because I will not say that. I think they're a AAA team right now, the Braves. And it's not just because it's Acuna, but it's Michael Harris, I think, is huge. And Albies, right? I mean, that is three of your top 5 hitters, right? Matt Olson is one of the worst hitters in baseball right now.
But who would expect that coming into the season? Like who? No one. Like, because even if you expect a down season from Olson, you still would expect it to be way better than what we're seeing right now.
Dude was 1 for 36 as of last week.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like you pretty much have Riley in there. Kelnick's been okay. Travis d'Arnaud has his one game a month, right, where he goes crazy. But like, so I'm saying it's like a AAA team, right? Like, that's why I said when you said it's only Acuna missing, I'm like, well, they're missing Matt Olson because the dude sucks.
Yeah.
And Michael Harris not being able to play in that one is just he's usually that perfect fill-in guy. So, and then obviously Albies for another 6 weeks is brutal. So, all right. So you got anything else for the people here?
Yeah, I'll post a round robin in a little bit, home run. I got Cattell, I got Royce so far. I need one more guy to slot in there for the round robin. So I'll figure that out. I'll post when I hope this, the show in like a couple hours. I'll post a round robin. And I got to figure out if I want to play a Douglas Garcia home run tonight because that was real close. I had my finger hovering over at plus 500 against his former team, a guy that relies heavily on the fastballs, man. The Douglas was really tempting me. So I do think there are some good home run looks. We've obviously had some momentum there. So keep an eye out for that. Definitely have some more long shot stuff today.
Make sure you post that in the comments. But you got to play Vinny P, right? Put him in there.
He cashed for me the other day. I mean,
put Vinny P in that third spot for the round robin.
I'll lock it in. The guy's made me money. The problem is he's not hitting it out the park that much. He's hitting it hard, the hard hit rate, the barrel rate. He's got like 1 homer since July 5th or something, Like,
hey, you know how you fix that?
How?
You face Chris Flexen. That's how you fucking fix it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. The problem with the round robin, though, I like the Vinny P for the straights a little bit more. Same reason why I don't have Adolis in the round robin, because I think Adolis is a little bit more risky. I like to play those guys straight, leave it out of the parlay combo. But I don't mind Vinny P at all, especially if you guys tuned into our spaces on Friday, I played his total bases at plus money, which we cashed. So definitely don't mind going back to Vinny P at all.
One thing I will say, it has been raining a lot here.
That's what I saw. Yep.
But it should stop at like 4 or 5. Super humid, right? It should be about 80 and super humid tomorrow and through the rest of the week around here. that's Milwaukee to Chicago, it's by 90, bro. So that ball will be flying there. So just a heads up for you guys that are weather fiends. There are some of you guys out there. That might be a look for you guys. So, yeah, should be fun. I do not have a home run in that game. I would definitely take a Phillies in that one. I wouldn't want to take a home run against Wheeler in Philly, but I think they do well against them. I think I would take an under for Wheeler strikeouts and maybe over on earned runs there. So do not have a bet in that game, but I think that would be a spot for me. So thank you guys. Make sure you guys are looking at the comment section. I know Stu will throw his round robin in there. Ready for you guys, but we appreciate it. 25 of you guys still in here. Hit that like button on your way out, and we will be ready for you guys on Wednesday for another round here, ready to make some money. So thank you guys, and best of luck tonight.